Long ago, in the age-old fandom of K-pop, there were many nations who lived in perfect harmony. As time passed on, however, that peace proved to be short-lived. Among the many nations within the fandom, while some would have the occasional scuffle, nothing proved to be as fanbase shaking as the war between EXO and BTS. Though, while I'm sure some of you have heard of this endless battle, how bad even is it? And why does it even exist in the first place? Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and welcome to the Fandom Files, the mostly bi-weekly series where I take you into the deep hidden away depths of each and every fandom. Well, here it is. Considering you guys seem to really want part 2 to come out as soon as possible, we'll ignore the bi-weekly rule just this once. Oh man, where to even start with this? While in the last episode I did my best to cover the hardships idols have gone through due to a small minority of terrible fans, now I want to focus not only on the mob mentality select groups of fans have within this fandom, but just the insanity surrounding the extremely vocal minorities within BTS's and EXO's fandoms. So to start from the top, with EXO's fandom the EXO-L's and BTS's fandom the A.R.M.Y, there was always a small rivalry between the two. Standard stuff, really, like that of playfully saying my band is better than yours and whatnot. However, once BTS started gaining serious popularity with their newest album, Wings, they ended up winning their very first Daesangs, an award that takes serious effort to win. With that, BTS had really made a name for itself in the K-pop sphere, even coming close to surpassing big groups like EXO with their popularity. And that's all fine and good. In an industry like K-pop, it's natural for groups to fluctuate in popularity like that. Though unfortunately, a few EXO-Ls were just not having it. Soon, out of thin air, came the Break Wings Sabotage Project, an effort by a few fans to not only invalidate BTS's hard-earned success, but completely stomp out their newfound popularity as well. At first, it really wasn't very prominent or noticeable, with only a few fans trying to trend plagiarism hashtags, but things began to get serious as more and more people hopped on the bandwagon. Soon enough, out of their unfounded hatred and spite, fans of not only EXO but other groups began seriously pushing the hashtag plagiarism boys on Twitter, to the point of it becoming #1 in Korea. That's not all either, as this was all timed to happen right as BTS was having their concert, so that once it all ended and they went to Twitter to say things to their fans, they would inevitably see the hashtag trending across all of Twitter, in Korea at least. Though I'm sure you must be wondering, what were these plagiarism allegations even based upon? Well, as I'm sure you can imagine, they're pretty stupid. Take one allegation saying that a member was quote-unquote copying the hair color of a member from another group, since apparently hair color is grounds for plagiarism nowadays. I swear, people even went as far as to make full-on guides for others on how to get not only the hashtag trending, but how to do everything they can to put down members of A.R.M.Y, from hate comments to even making it seem like the A.R.M.Y was behind the attack. I mean, the immaturity some of these people displayed really showed no bounds whatsoever. You can't just automatically make album sales go down just because you think your favorite group deserves them more. I mean, that's just not how the industry works. What unfortunately did end up happening is not only were the members of BTS incredibly stressed out by this, one member even began having issues with depression at the time. Now, since then, some EXO-Ls involved with that whole mess have come out to apologize for their idiotic actions, thankfully. But by that time, it was too late. The never-ending cycle of certain obsessed fans from both groups always trying to put the other down had already began. It's a real shame too, since most EXO-Ls were highly against this movement, condemning everyone who was was a part of it. Since then, however, unfortunately, certain overly obsessed members of ARMY have done more or less the exact same thing across the internet. Ironically, a couple of days ago, a group of ARMYs actually accused a group called Stray Kids that hadn't even debuted yet of plagiarizing BTS, solely because of some similarities in the trailer for the group. I mean, really, you'd think that after being a victim of such a similar attack, even the most delusional fans would be against making such baseless accusations. Oh, and take this account from one of my fans, where after witnessing certain members of ARMY do such things as send death threats, trash talk anyone who liked EXO, and actually lurk in the tabs of EXO just to spam that BTS are the true kings of K-pop whenever someone did as much as make a post about or relating to EXO, they tried to talk some sense into the people, thus being immediately blocked by all of them. But one of the craziest things just has to be the fact that some members of these fandoms actually end up harming K-pop's exposure across the entire world due to their actions. Take this incident involving ARMYs, where a Canadian radio station wanted to play an hour of K-pop. I mean, you'd think that all fans, even the bad eggs, would be for this, right? Well, among all the things that were sent to the station on Twitter, the people were actually angry because the K-pop hour wasn't only including BTS. Others even said BTS is quote-unquote better than K-pop and shouldn't be considered such. The backlash ended up being so intense that the station just dropped the hour entirely. I mean, this crap just gives me a headache. On one hand, these people want BTS to become more mainstream and notable in North America, but then they go ahead and destroy a potential avenue that would do just that. I mean, isn't it common knowledge how radio stations work? They always play from a ton of artists, not just one. Though at the same time, you really never know, since there have also been a sizable amount of antis that not only make fake accounts to pose as ARMYs, but those accounts are then used to do some of the shit I've talked about in this video, like harassing the fandoms of other groups and promoting BTS obnoxiously to get the other fandoms to hate BTS. The saddest thing is, in some cases, they've honestly succeeded. But aside from the issues I've talked about so far, now let's discuss the kind of creepy mob mentality that some of these K-pop stans have, particularly on Twitter. Like the incident with that radio station, K-pop stans of EXO, BTS, and so much more are some of the quickest to launch a full-on witch hunt that I've ever seen. Take the whole incident surrounding the rap artist Cupcake on Twitter, where after making quite the sexual tweet towards Jungkook, a member of BTS, hordes and hordes of fans began to not only spam her with racial slurs, but just about any kind of insult or death threat you can imagine. I mean, you have to take it all into consideration. Both people are 20-year-old adults. It's not like Jungkook is a child in need of constant protection. The funniest thing is, most of the overly obsessed fans that sent her death threats are the same kind of people to post crap like this. And while this was a bit more of a high-profile scenario, it doesn't take much at all for the extremely obsessive stans to find someone saying anything that isn't positive about their group, and start bombarding that person with hatred to the point of spreading their name for others to join in. I mean, hell, take this story that yet another fan sent me, where after a girl, we'll call her Monica, not only threw a tantrum because two of her friends liked girl groups, and even threatened to hit them if they didn't submit and agree with her, she went online and convinced her obsessed EXO-l friends that they were spreading hate for EXO all over, prompting them and many others to spam hate on every page the two friends had. I swear, these people think they're doing some kind of great service for the idols, but in reality, not only will they never even know of their existence, but odds are they'll never even see the stuff you're trying to to supposedly protect them from in the first place. Though out of all of these incidents happening within this fandom war, this is by far one of the most appalling out there. When BTS were going on their nationwide Red Bullet concert tour, right when they were going to do their New York concert, posts like these began springing up. And even if some of these were a joke, making death threats in this day and age is an extremely serious matter. So as you'd expect, they were treated as such, with the group having to leave early, canceling the concert and the high-touch event afterwards, which hundreds of fans had been waiting for. Hell, there have even been more since then, like one account even going as far as to feature very specific threats against Jimin, a member of BTS, like the exact location that the shooting would take place and when it would happen. Keep in mind, there are people that actually cheer this garbage on because BTS quote-unquote deserves it. And honestly, that mentality is one of the most disgusting that I've ever seen. All of that aside, however, now I want to speak to the majority of the K-pop fandom, the people who are fans of whichever group they like, and don't harass others for liking different groups. Please keep on doing what you're doing. The only way to make this terrible minority less vocal is by spreading positivity throughout every K-pop fandom out there. And to those who have persecuted others for liking a group you don't, it's not too late to change. I can assure you that once you adopt a more positive attitude towards other K-pop groups and fandoms, your life will just be so much better as a whole. Except those who actually made death threats to idols and persecuted them so much that a few have even broken down crying. You can just leave the internet for all I care, especially those people who even went as far as to celebrate Jonghyun's suicide. Really, those people are garbage. To wrap things up though, I want to say this. Being a massive fan of something or someone is great. I wholeheartedly encourage it. But when your devotion as a fan leads you to doing things you normally wouldn't do otherwise, you must take a step back and ask yourself why you're even doing such a thing in the first place. Because at the end of the day, you're not the only fan of that person or group. Making a fandom great is a team effort, and it starts with you. I have to give a huge thanks to all the K-pop fans out there who helped me in the making of these videos. Without their information and stories, I wouldn't even have enough insight to make both of them. Seriously, if you still think K-pop fandoms are completely awful, then you're solely mistaken. And to those who have continued sending me fandom stories via Twitter, I have a bit of a request. For now, send me every positive fandom story you have or you can find. I'll be featuring a ton of them in an upcoming video. But since I didn't do it last video, here's my favorite fandom story from the comments of last episode. I remember one time my friend, her two friends, and me were talking about VIX and who our favorite idols were. So everyone was saying their favorites, and I said, yeah, I like Leo the most. Then soon after, one of the girls said, no, sorry, but Leo is mine. And I responded with, huh, well, too late, I said it first. Of course I said it playfully, but immediately afterwards, she replied, no, you have to take another, because Leo is only mine and you can never have him. The worst thing was, she was serious. Anyways, with a friend of mine, we went to a VIX concert, and while we waited in line, there were already many people waiting. Some people we met told us how grateful they were for the organization of the line. Everyone waiting got a number according to their position, and every hour someone would check your number. They told us how in most K-pop concerts they went to, there would always be girls who would scratch you and bite you to get up to the front of the line. I'm sure this is the case for a lot of boy band type groups, but don't these people realize they're not at the center of the universe? Everyone around them wants to see the group as much as they do. You'd think they'd realize that. Well, anyways, it's that time of the video again. Do vote in the iCard at the top right of the video for the next episode of the Fandom Files. I'll make sure to put some good ones in there. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, do subscribe, and today's cool thing of the day is, without a doubt, the upcoming Kirby Star Allies. Now, I know the game isn't out yet, but just from the demo I played recently, I'm ultra excited for this game. And a little fun fact for you all, I'm actually a huge fan of Kirby, with it being one of the fandoms I still interact interact with to this day. So if any of you have a Switch, do go try the demo. The game comes out March 16th. So that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.